How would you fight someone twice your size? Shoot them.
USA has joined the chat.
Fight dirty, use the surroundings in your favor and try to not get corned.
Throws corn at you. You just got corned.
Sweep the leg.
What if we don't have a broom?
Knives, don't care about size. It's a joke, don't fight with people.
Shit, I thought you were being deadly serious.
Well, if you want a serious answer, I am assuming you are talking big tough looking guy. Twice your size, maybe. Twice your height, unlikely. There are parts of the human body that cannot be trained. Chin, balls, face, some ankle joints, but I would recommend throat. I mean, it depends on your situation, but if it is a life-threatening situation and running is not an option, I'd recommend the following. Study his movements if you have time for that. Most people don't know how to fight. They think just because they can throw a punch they are tough. It is not honorable, but aim for either the groin or the throat. Depends on how he's coming at you. He will come at you, he will very likely think he has the advantage. Try to kick him in the balls or punching his throat. Be aware of the aftermath. A punch to the throat can kill someone pretty easily. Safest would be to aim for the groin. Everybody, at least, bends down after that. The moment he does that, you have to be quick. Get close, use both arms to grab his head and then throw your knee into his face as heavily as possible. If you execute that right, he will be out cold. And even if not, he'll be in so much pain that he won't be able to purchase you. Please never aim for the throat unless you deem it absolutely necessary. Those are pretty much the easiest way to subdue a man stronger than him. If you are quick on your feet, have good reflexes, the knees are always a weak point. One stop to the side of the knee and he won't walk again for the rest of the year. If we're going by weight, they would be 440 pounds, so just power walk around them until they had a heart attack. Run swiftly in the opposite direction, naturally. Hit them in the eyes, groin, and throat with your keys splayed out between your knuckles. If you get a hold of a sawn-off shotgun, life will be easier. Good luck. I did. I lost. Shoot or stab them. Punch them in the nuts. Hit them in their feels. Defeat them emotionally.
My gut response to this question was also, cry.
See that item in your left? Yay, I'd use that as a weapon.
A dresser. To be honest, it's a small one, 2-drawer meant to fit under a bed, so I bet I can lift it. Regardless of effectiveness, I bet that'd be pretty fucking scary to have chucked at you.
My coworker. That could work. Sorta like, hey, have you met Ted?
A Tabasco sauce. Good choice.
With a better lawyer. Costs more, but you want to win, right? I'm 4 feet tall and around 70 pounds due to dwarfism, and I've actually had to be in this position, somewhat. Dwarfs seem to be magnets to drunk people, especially ones that think it's okay to grab us and pick us up without warning. I had one guy, I think he was at least 6'2" and stocky. If anything, he was at least 3 times my mass. He grabbed me when I was walking home on a Saturday night, and lifted me up like I was nothing. I already had him clocked in my peripheral vision, so when I felt him lift me up, I twisted round violently, startling him and making him drop me. Fortunately, I landed on my feet. And as he bent down, possibly to apologize or try again, I don't know, I grabbed him by the lapel of his jacket and yanked him sideways and forced him over one of my planted feet, channeling some amateur judo did as a kid, I guess, so that he lost his balance and fell on his side onto the cobblestones. There's no way I could have done anything like that to a man of his size if he was sober, but this guy was utterly gazeboed, so it wasn't too hard to get him off balance. His friends who had caught up to him found it hilarious and said good work to me and apologized for their friend. Overall, a good result for a pretty shitty experience. Eat the super mushroom from Super Mario Bros. So now I will be twice my original size, so am now just as big as the enemy I'm fighting against. I used to get bullied by a kid larger than me. About twice my size when I was 11, he was 13. Horrible asshole of a human. I mean, this kid would try to fight me every fucking day of my life for no damned reason. He would shove me randomly, hit me, sucker punch me, make fun of me. It was like a bad 80s bully sequence. I didn't know him other than I rode the bus with him. I got hit pretty hard one day and went home crying. My dad found me, asked me what happened, I told him. Then he said, fighting people is wrong, don't start a fight. But if you get in trouble for ending a fight you didn't start, I'll always have your back. I ran away from him, waited till I felt he was really close and about to catch me. Then stopped really quickly and dove into his legs. He couldn't stop and tumbled over me. While he was on the ground, scrambling to get up, I kicked him as hard as I could in his stomach. Then kicked him as hard as I could in his back. Ran away and he didn't chase after me. I'd like to say that he learned his lesson and knew not to mess with that badass 11-year-old. But he beat me pretty hard on the bus that day. Then got 2 of his fat friends to get off at my stop with me. Fortunately, an adult was there and threatened all 3 of them and they went home. Otherwise I don't know what would have happened. That guy is now, coincidentally, a cop. I live in another state now. Dated the girl he got friend-zoned by in my 20s. Made sure she mentioned me when they hung out one time. Make a lot more money than he does. And I swear to God I'd slash the fucking tires on his car if I ever saw him in public. Insult their mothers. Make those pussies cry. Just grab a sharp object and then keep stabbing like a psychopath and get arrested because there was no proof that it was self-defense. Run. Run so far away. You want your opponent to lose balance, so break or hurt his legs so he or she can't stand up well. Hit his groin. Hit the throat. Have the person do the Vulcan salute and break his hands as Denzel did in Equalizer 2? Depends. Do you want the person alive or dead by the end of the fight? Brit here, fight dirty. I'm not talking punching him when he's down, I'm meaning bite his ears off. He's got size, but hopefully you have size. If you don't win the fight, at least make sure he doesn't want a round 2. Fighting is survival, which is why I don't really play fight. It's far too easy to cause damage if you intend it. So yeah. Fight dirty. Twist testicles if you have to. So my opponent is 10 feet tall? With a gun. In a regular car. I'm pretty big, but I can fit in a car. Someone twice my size would not. I would run. I'm 6 feet 4 inches and 300 pounds, so if someone was twice my size that would be one huge motherfucker. If you are fighting in defense, do whatever it takes, kick him in the balls, sweep the legs, whatever the fuck you need to do. If it's a proper fight, you pretty much started fight fair. It's not about how many you win, it's how many you show up for. I will play the long game. If they are twice my size, they will die from cardiac problems, overweight, diabetes. Then I will piss on their grave. Knees fold the wrong direction with little effort so long as your timing is right. Aside from that, hell, just be vicious. They get a hold of you, start breaking fingers. Shove your thumbs into their eyes as hard as you can. Bite, pull hair, attack the groin, I mean grab, squeeze, and twist, not just kick. Grab an ear and yank that shit as hard as you can. I'm already ridiculously tall. His bones would probably break under his own mass. So I'm weight, because weight. With a weapon, lol. Twice my size? 12 foot and change tall, something like 366 cm, something like 8 times heavier, call it 1920 pounds in real weight, or 871 kilos. Me squared would be lucky to be able to stand up in a 1 gravity field, much less fight. Human musculature is not suited for supporting a body that size. Remember, twice the size means 8 times the volume and 8 times the weight, at least. Someone who's 12 feet would probably fall over before I touch them. I'm in Alabama, so pull out a G17 handgun. Man or woman, always go for the balls. As martial arts guy, I tell this a lot to girls when we have self-defense workshops. Use your thumbs. By this I mean stick both your thumb in someone's mouth and pull outwards, tearing up the attacker's lips. Schwarzenegger's type of guys will drop like a stone. I have not met anyone yet who could stand the pain. Think of when your lips are cold and get torn by cold weather and multiply that by a lot. Twice my size? So he would to be over 3 meters tall, holy shit. Simple MP40 I keep in my car should do the trick. Groin, groin, groin. Just kick the nuts as hard as you can. If it's a girl, which it shouldn't be if they are twice your size, but you never know, still groin. Still hurts like a bitch, just not as much. But groin is one area that will render even the biggest opponent useless. Unless they got castrated. Then you're kind of fucked. Twice my size would be a 12 feet 4 inches tall 360 pounds monster, which would straight up murder me if we were in hand-to-hand combat. Like hands twice as big would probs be able to crush my skull. So the only option would be to try and get some kind of gun and shoot them. Now if we're talking figuratively twice my size, go for a foot sweep and finish it off with either a rear naked choke or a triangle choke. Probs would get my ass handed to me THB. Physics. I mean, if a person was twice as tall as me, they'd collapse under the weight of their own bodies. But if you mean twice my overall mass, I'd just bite them. Or kick. Or anything, really. I've surprised people thrice my mass with how strong I can be when I want to. Also, my elbows are pretty painful to hit. Not for me, but for whoever tried to hit me. My brother once hit my elbow on accident. He wasn't even throwing a punch, and he was in agony, while I didn't feel anything.